All right, today we're going to unpack a really powerful idea called the GeneCapsule Sustainable Development Blueprint. It's this ambitious way of rethinking how we can solve some of the world's biggest, toughest challenges. So, let's dive right in. I want to kick things off with a pretty huge question. Just think about it for a second. What if we actually had the architectural plans, the real fundamental design for a future that's truly sustainable and fair for everyone? What would that even look like? But before we even start looking at those plans, we've got to get our heads around the scale of the challenge we're facing. Why do we need a new blueprint so badly, right now?
Well, the reason is pretty clear when you look at the world around us. We're facing this incredibly complex web of crises that are all tangled together. Climate change isn't some separate issue from poverty, and global pandemics, they throw a harsh spotlight on all the deep inequalities in our societies. These aren't just a bunch of random problems, they're all symptoms of a system that's just not working right.
Now, the good news is, we're not just sitting around doing nothing. The global community is on it. There's already a huge, ambitious plan in place, kind of like the ultimate to-do list for humanity.
And that plan is the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs for short. And this was a massive deal. We're talking about pretty much every country on Earth coming together and agreeing on a single shared vision for the future.
Okay, so 17 goals. That sounds like a lot, I know. It can feel a little overwhelming. But here's a much simpler way to think about it. You can basically group all of them into three core ideas: making life better for all people, protecting our planet, and creating shared prosperity. See, all of a sudden, that huge mission feels a lot more achievable.
But this is where we get to the real heart of today's explainer. Because look, having a list of goals is one thing, but having the right way to actually make them happen, well, that's a whole different ballgame.
And that is the crucial question, isn't it? We know what we want. No poverty, clean oceans, good education for all, great. But how? How do we actually engineer the systems that get us there?
And this is where the GeneCapsule framework comes into play. It's basically saying, hey, let's stop just putting Band-Aids on the symptoms. Instead, let's look at the underlying code, the DNA of our social and economic systems that's causing the problems in the first place. It's a huge shift from surface-level fixes to redesigning things from the ground up.
I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the idea. Think of the SDGs as the beautiful picture on the front of a jigsaw puzzle box. It shows you what you want to build. This blueprint, the GeneCapsule approach, that's the how. It's the instruction manual inside, the architectural DNA that shows you how all the different pieces actually connect.
So, let's open up that instruction manual, shall we? What are the core mechanics of this blueprint, and what really makes it so different from how we usually try to solve big problems?
This chart here lays out the difference perfectly. The conventional way of doing things, it's all about focusing on symptoms. It's got siloed solutions where different experts work in their own little bubbles, and honestly, it's often really resource-intensive. The GeneCapsule approach just flips that whole script. It's about digging deep to find the root cause, designing systems where everything works together, and, this is the really cool part, designing solutions that work with nature, not against it.
The whole blueprint really boils down to three simple but super powerful principles. Number 1, diagnose the real root cause, not just what's on the surface. 2, design with nature as your mentor. And 3, make sure your solution can actually be deployed at a massive scale to have a real impact.
Let's just hang on that second principle for a second, design with nature, because this is where things get really practical. A conventional fix for food scarcity might be, just use more chemical fertilizers. Sure, it's a quick fix for the symptom, but it degrades the soil over time. A GeneCapsule approach would be to create something like an agroforestry system, where you integrate trees and crops and animals together, mimicking how a healthy forest works. That system becomes self-sustaining. It builds soil health. It's regenerative, not extractive. Now that's designing with nature.
Okay, so let's bring this all home in our final section and see how it all comes together. Because let's be honest, a blueprint is only as good as the people who actually use it to build something.
And this right here is probably the most important thing to remember. This blueprint isn't some rigid, dusty manual that you have to follow word for word. No way. It's a framework, a new way of thinking. It's a living plan that needs all of us, innovators, communities, you, me, to get involved, to adapt it, and to bring it to life. So, we're going to end right back where we started, but with a really important twist. The question isn't what if we had a blueprint for a better world anymore. The plan is here. The new question, the one that really matters now, is for you. The blueprint is here. What will you build?